amazing.
I do think Edgar does deserve the next shot.
Yeah.
And then after that, it leads into what I wanted to also talk about was the UFC Fight Night 123 Saturday.
Dude, one more thing on Holloway. Do you think it's weird like how good he is as a 45er and compared to just the entire UFC roster and how far he still is away from being like a superstar in the public's eyes? Because he's not that like big, he's not that famous, but he's so good.
Well, I just watching the fights with friends, and I don't know if you're friends, but people that don't know fighting that well, when I was watching this fight with them, they, for some reason, were turned off by his demeanor. They found him, two people I watched with said the word unlikable. People just, there are some people who don't find Holloway likable from a personality standpoint.
Which is such an annoying factor for fighting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
If there's one thing you have to do,
it's all marketing and sales. You know, you're now, no matter what you do, your personality.
For sure.
Yeah, but to say that, you have a guy like McGregor who might be, on paper, one of the most unlikable people. And people love him.
Yeah, but charisma's charisma.
I think it's,
that's true.
Maybe
Holloway should roll into it and just turn it to.
McGregor's insanely likable, though.
He is. Yeah, he's. I'd say this to a few comments. He's the most likable, unlikable dude you'll see.
Yeah, but he's likable because he's kind of just he's leaning into his balls to the wall.
He's a caricature of a person.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with? Because you look at all the champions now and you think, you know, the UFC wants to make money no matter what. So they're kind of trying to do more and more super fights. We've heard the talks about GSP, McGregor, whatever. What's the super fight going to be for Max? Because it's going to be a while before he gets that McGregor fight again. Because Ferguson's proved himself just as much as Holloway has and is in the division that McGregor currently holds the belt. So he's going to do the Ferguson fight first. McGregor's not fighting that much. So do you think Holloway, maybe Garbrandt comes up and they do something like that? Or
that's the thing about super fights. I really dislike them because a lot of times it's someone fighting out of their weight class unless they do a catch weight, which is even rarer. So even if, let's say Garbrandt goes up against Holloway, that's an enormous difference in size. Holloway's a very tall, lanky 45er, and Garbrandt's an average 35er.
Yeah.
So it's just a huge disparity, not in skill, just in size, where it's just not. That doesn't make it a super fight to me because it's just so different.
Yeah, I don't view that as a super fight either. I think that would be a terrible decision for Garbrandt.
So I'm just thinking but Garbrandt's got 10 times the following in the public eye that Holloway has right now. People outside of our world don't know Max Holloway.
I agree.
But they know Cody. You know,
I mean, he has those eyebrows that are just so perfect.
Yeah, he wasn't so hot.
I think what happened was, it's weird because I was going to say it's an age thing, but then you have Holloway, who is also, he's 25. So it's not an age. It's just, for some reason, Garbrandt's very likable. I do think Holloway, if he beats, because I think the Holloway-Edgar fight would be a bigger draw. Because Frankie does draw pretty well for UFC. So I think if Holloway beats Edgar, which I would not like to see, I'd like to see Frankie win, but I think that'll definitely help his standing.
Yeah, there's not that many big stars in the 45 division right now. There's not really any big featherweight.
It's kind of the ebb and flows of divisions, Jesus Christ, where it takes a little while to regrow the next crop.
Yeah.
Right now it seems like 55, 70,
85.
Those seem to be the most popular.
35.
Yeah.
That's why the Nagano fight was so big, because the heavyweight
is finally starting to come back over.
The light heavyweights as dry as it's been as far as superstar. Even entertainment wise, it's not as great as it has.
UFC 220 is Cormier versus Volkan.
Yeah.
I like Volkan, but that's
I love Cormier, but
it's star power.
Yeah.
It's weird because there's fights for people like us and there's fights for people that just want to watch it occasionally, and that's fine.
But that's who the UFC is going
for. Sure, yeah, they know they have our money.
Yeah, they're not looking to please the hardcore MMA fan. They're looking to reach to a new audience or sell, break some pay-per-view record, break 1 million buys, whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's funny because